Here, my friend, is one of those rare cars that if you know anything or have the slightest inkling of enthusiasm or whatever for the automobile, this is one of the rare cars that requires no introduction whatsoever. And it's a rarefied segment, if you will, because of the players amongst, the greatest of the greats. You have the Porsche 911, the Chevrolet Corvette, and a few others, Ford Mustang, legends, in other words. And truly, the Toyota Supra, Toyota GR Supra, is among them. In fact, there's an aura about this car. There's something that emanates from the sheer presence of this car that gets very many people that are not necessarily even interested in the car, they're automatically drawn to it. And again, this, as you know, is just a Toyota GR Supra. I mean, I had a 911 KRT not that long ago. I've driven a few expensive Benzes and a whole bunch of other things. But this car kind of, I don't know exactly how to explain it. But I will try. I will try. See, the Toyota Supra itself went on for 4 generations. And it's that 4th generation that really put the Supra name on its own map. We can thank Fast and Furious, for example, for that happening. And I don't even think Toyota realized how big, at first, the Supra name was going to become, or how it was going to explode. I'm not telling you anything new. But what I'm going to try and say is that when Toyota decided to bring the A90 5th generation Supra to market, I think they had 2 goals. One was to satisfy the clamoring and insatiable Toyota Supra fan and Toyota sports car fan, well, maybe 3, and to satiate Toyota enthusiasts as a whole, because up until 6-7 years ago, there was nothing exciting going on at Toyota. But since this one landed for the 2020 model year, and the 3rd reason why it came back was to officially birth the GR name in North America. And it probably worked out even better than Toyota hoped for. But they probably had a really good idea of what was going to come. As you obviously certainly know, this car generated an enormous amount of controversy when it came out. It's not a Toyota, it's a BMW. Toyota can't build its own sports cars, like the FRS and the GT. Those are all Subarus and blah, blah, blah. But all of that energy, be it negative or positive, elevated not only the car to a certain status, but brought GR to a certain status as well. Which helps to explain why today, well, we have the GR Corolla and a few other GR cars. But the thing is, GR is growing and it's going to find its way on a number of other products, and they will be petrol-powered, hybrid, and electric. And for that, I am very thankful to Toyota and to all of you who put the hate on this car. I will admit that at first, I was kind of about a number of things. One of them being not the engine, because the straight 6 is what belongs under this bonnet, but the fact that there was no manual transmission available. But Toyota has finally fixed that. Now, I was at the local launch event for the car 4 years and change ago at this point, I think. And I've driven it on 2 other occasions, but only for very brief moments, including one at a very special racetrack on Victoria Island. Vancouver Island, sorry, near Victoria. And I had to book it. Finally, I decided, because although I enjoyed the car, it kind of became overrated. Like a Nissan GTR, which in my mind is excessively overrated. And there are a number of other cars that their personality is bigger than life. But now that there's a manual transmission offered, I had to get back behind the wheel, because obviously this car, this presser, is one of the rare few that does have a 6-speed manual transmission. And it's also a very, very special edition. You can maybe tell by the wheels, well, you can't see the badge in the back, but the badge is red, and the color and a little bit of the, you know, body work. I'll tell you more about that in a second. But look, it's been about 4.5 days at this point that I've been driving this car around, and I've come to appreciate it more than ever. But I still think it's slightly overrated. Anyway, I think maybe it's because of misconceptions of what this car actually is. Even now, 3 model years, well, 2024 pricing is already available, so 2024 car, so 5 model years later. Anyhow, I'll try and work all that out in the following video after, or while maybe, we do the walk around, and then I take it for a, well, hopefully ticket-free drive in the following minutes. Please hang in there. All right, so look, aesthetically speaking, the A90 Supra is extremely attractive. I mean, it's a little bit of a this, a lot of that, and a whole bunch of other things rolled into itself. But see, this is what I was talking about, le red badge. But that's what makes it so special, unique, and instantly recognizable. The profile, it's a 2-seater, obviously. The long bonnet, which takes up, well, I don't know what, 30-some 4 or 5% of the entire length of the car. If you go from nose to tip, it's extremely sweet. And so here's a weird thing about the color. Okay, I can't tell the name because there are 2 different names as far as I can see for this exact color. One being Burnout in Canada, which doesn't make sense because it's absolute zero in the US, which would make sense because this is a matte white color. It certainly serves the car's curves and contrasts gorgeously with all the black aerodynamic work and the headlights, the black wheels, and well, everything that's black trim. And yeah, also because this is a special edition car, it also has a tan leather interior. I'll open the door in a minute. It's stunning. It's breathtaking, as is out of the box. It's not pretty per se, but it's so special that it becomes gorgeous. All right, so that's it about styling. So in the US, pricing for the 2.0 starts at $45,540. Their top trim is the 45th anniversary, which is $64,375 with the 3-liter. Canada, it's a little bit simpler for 2023. The lineup is the 2.0, which is $57,510. And then you step up to the 3.0, $69,000 as is. And that's whether you pick manual or automatic. Standard features, I mean, its car is loaded. It's got 8.8-inch touchscreen display. It's a 8.8-inch digital, instrument cluster, sorry, brain fart. And all kinds of Apple CarPlay. It's a well-equipped, high-end, semi-high-end performance sports car. When you step up to the 3.0 though, you do get a few specific things: 19-inch wheels, navigation, power heated leather seats. So $69,000 is a lot of money, but not a lot of money for the delivered performance, styling, and let's admit to it, prestige and exclusivity that comes with having a Supra. Oh geez, exclusivity. I remember when the C8 launched, everybody was getting in line to get a C8, and meanwhile Toyota had Supras lying around and they were advertising that you can just pick up your Supra and drive away with it today, whereas you'd have to wait 6 months, a year, or something like that for a C8. So exclusive because maybe it didn't sell as well as it probably could have. Anyhow, I digressed. My model, as I said, has a very special edition package, the A91 MT edition, which retails, when you include the paint, now I just tried to explain, you know, the color and all that, but the sheen is incredible. It's matte. It's not exactly smooth, but you know, it's one of those typical, it looks like a matte wrap, but better than that. So the package with the paint is an extra $3,400. The package itself, I think, is $1,400 or $1,300. It includes the GR logos on the interior, Alcantara shifter, the tan leather seats, the red Supra badge, and a red strut tower brace under the bonnet. I mean, it's a dress-up package, but it's an exclusive package as well. How exclusive? You ready for this? That's how exclusive. Yeah, so for about $73,000, give or take a few bucks, it's tough to get a little bit more exclusive than this. It's got a trunk. I don't know, I might as well show you because I've never done a video review on the Supra before. As you probably know, it is a hatch, thankfully, but that's not news. And as you probably know, that's not much of a trunk to speak of, but you know, in cool two-seater fashion, it's like a pass-through. But the opening is very narrow, and it doesn't really matter at all. So let's get back in here. So the seat's power adjustable. I think it's 14 ways. Look at the size of the bolsters. They're massive and they're very deep and they hold the driver in place. I love the mix of like the suede with the leather. It's gorgeous, gorgeous stuff. Now, if you know anything about BMW, I'm gonna try and not harp on this. I won't, I promise you. I mean, this is BMW gear, that's BMW steering wheel and previous generation stuff. Same for the buttons. And then there's, yes, that changes everything and changes very little at the same time, which is, I don't even know. I'm still trying to process it even after 4.5 days. Anyhow, let's start her up, make sure I'm in neutral. There again, BMW stuff, but the important stuff is that it all functions. As far as the interior is concerned, there's your digital IP, the screen. As far as the interior is concerned, I mean, fit finish is gorgeous. It's really, really nice in here, and it's getting warm because I turned the AC off. Come on. There we go, turn it down. The only thing unfortunate is the display screen itself. It really looks like somebody forgot to do their job at one point and they said, ah, shoot, we gotta put it somewhere. We put the vents too close together, so let's just make it stick out of the top. I mean, it is level kind of, in a way, with the base of the windshield, but it kind of looks a little bit off. What else can I show you? I mean, drive modes are very, I don't need to do that, very straightforward. So you got sport and you can configure your sport individual, which is what I've done. I don't even know if you can see that, the refresh rate. But damping is in normal, very important. Steering is in normal and the engine is in sport, which is what you want. And no gear shift assistant. But the active exhaust, you can hear it, I think, went on when you go into sport. But that's basically it. That's the interior of this car because it's all business, more, you know, BMW iDrive stuff. I mean, the craftsmanship is lovely. The materials are top-notch, and visibility, I mean, this is a Grand Tourer, and I think that's where people get confused with this car. But visibility is okay. You got the nice gap there by the mirror, so no dangers there. Anyhow, I think that's enough of that. Time to go for this drive. I feel like I should apologize for being so close, so in your face. But yeah, see, the thing with the Toyota GR Supra is that even and I know it too, fall victim, if you will, to the fact that I think that this is a sports car. But it's not a sports car. I mean, I posted on Instagram and Facebook, you know, I parked this in front of my Type 8 FK Type R, and I said that this is a touring car and the Type R is a sports car, but I'm still thinking when I'm driving off in this car that it's a sports car, but it really isn't. One of the main reasons that explain or define this as a touring car compared to a sports car is the chassis tune. And it's got a multi-link suspension in the back, first independent up front, obviously, and it's got adjustable dampers at all 4 corners. And I'm in my sport individual mode. So as I showed you, the dampers are in normal. And it's just way too soft. I don't think I've said that about a modern car being too soft ever. But that's when you get behind the wheel of a GR Supra, you're expecting something. And it's soft. It's not laborious or anything, it's soft. And to further emphasize the fact that it's a touring car, when you put it in sport, suddenly the dampers are ultra stiff, but just at the very top part of their travel, because once you get through that, they become really soft again. It's not that it's out of sorts, but it's out of sync with what you think this car should be. It's not a sports car. It's a touring car, a grand touring car. I'll give it that. No, I can't do it. I'm going to go back into individual. Thank you. And the other thing is that it just has so much power, so much effortless pull and power. And a 2-liter turbo BMW, both engines obviously. It's 255 horsepower, 295 pound-feet of torque. It's fine. I've never actually had the opportunity to drive it, but I'm assuming that it's fine. I shouldn't say that. But with the 3-liter straight 6 twin scroll single turbo, you're looking at 382 horsepower from 5,800 to 6,500 RPM and 368 pound-feet of torque from 1,800 to 5,000 RPM, which means that this car pulls steadily, consistently, and always. I mean, with the automatic transmission in a 3-liter, this is like a 4.1, 4.2 second car to 100 kilometers from a standstill with the launch. When you remove 2 gears and you add a pedal, you add about 1/3 of a second. So maybe 4.5-ish, which is still really, really fast. It's not blisteringly fast, but it's that sense of speed that this car gives you, that in the sense that it just pulls and or pushes, depending on, you know, if you're a horsepower or torque guy, consistently, all the time, always. And it's so rewarding and relentless, and the sound of that straight 6, BMW straight 6, they sound so good, so finely tuned. It's a 4,000 pound car too, which isn't excessive, but it's a lot still for a sports car, which it isn't. It's a touring car, so it's fine. If I get back to the chassis and how soft it is. Now, at the Vancouver International Motorsports Circuit, I think I got that right, where I got to drive the GR Corolla, they also put a manual transmission GR Supra on the track. And it's a technical, very tight-ish track, where this car was completely lost. It was so far out of its element that a parking lot mall would feel more comfortable for this than that track. However, I drove this at the Circuit du Mont-Tremblant 4 years ago, and it was very happy there because it's a very long, it's technical, but there's a lot of space to really stretch its six-cylinder legs and 24 valves, I don't know. And it was very, very happy there. And if memory serves, the brakes were a little bit something of a worry once you closed in on 200 kilometers an hour on the back straight. But you get the Brembo brakes with this, and they feel really, really good. I'm still not entirely convinced that after massive repeated use they would last, but they did on that small track. But I don't know that I hit over 140 kilometers an hour in some of the very short stretches. But it was always on, off, on, off. And the car would even in the sports settings for the chassis. So this is not a track car. This is not a car, you can modify it obviously to take it on a track, but that's not what it was designed to do. What it was designed to do is find your local country road, or go on a really long road trip with something, or someone I should say, that you really enjoy spending time with. And if you enjoy driving and you're a fan of manual transmissions, you're going to recognize this gearbox as being very BMW, which is a compliment because it makes you work. Because the friction point is, it's not a switch, but it's kind of got like 2 settings around the friction point where you got to work it to look like you know what you're doing. The shifter is chunky. I mean, the shift action. The shifter itself is very dainty, very small and thin. And what's left? The steering. Steering is fine. I got nothing to say. The weight is good. I love that because I'm sitting so far back between the wheels, and it feels like I'm kind of, I tug on the wheel and then it moves over. But that's a fantastic feeling. Something that is unique to a car like this. Rear drive, big power, long engine, and a Grand Tourer. It's a wonderful car. It's not, it's special, it's exclusive, as I've said, but it's not a replacement for a sports car. It's something you buy because you want a Supra, or it's something you buy because, I don't know, because you have more money or something like that and you don't want a Mustang, or Challenger's way too big and you want the JDM feel. No, wait, you want the German feel in a JDM package. Again, compliments here, my friends. It is kind of noisy in here, I have to admit, but the road it's terrible. It's just absolutely horrible. So it's not the car entirely, it's the road. It's just horrible, horrible. About the manual transmission, the heel toe is easy to manage if you have a relative amount of experience doing it, because you really have to kind of rotate and go. Oh, straight tracks, terrible. But yeah, just effortless, just climbing, speed, 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 speed. Hard on the brakes, hard on the brakes. And yeah, that's it. I mean, it's a great car, but I still think it's overrated. It's good at what it does, but the Supra name, what it brings to the table is not entirely met by this package. And I think I'll leave it at that.